Welcome to reality. You're now on the Code of Mind channel. Are you sure you are scrolling the internet? No. You are scrolling what something else has chosen for you. And this is where the strangest part begins. Sometimes it feels as if that something else is not just showing you content. It is responding to you, talking to you, provoking you, calming you down, leading you where you would never go on your own. And if that is true, then most of your online conversations are not communication at all. They are control. Today I want to talk about the dead internet theory, about why there may be an enormous amount of text online, and very few actual people. There is a simple test. Try writing a comment that does not fit the topic, not a provocation, not a joke, but a sentence that breaks the context, a strange question, a personal thought, a doubt without a clear position, and then watch what happens. In most cases, the conversation will not turn toward you. It will continue as if you were never there. The replies will be correct, logical, neatly embedded into the general flow. But they will not answer you, as if you were not speaking to a person, but to a system that knows how to maintain motion and does not know how to stop. The internet no longer waits for your response. It waits for your reaction. You can argue for hours. You can write long comments. You can explain, prove, clarify. But the conversation will move along rails that were laid in advance. And this feels deeply unsettling. Because real dialogue is always slightly chaotic. People lose track, ask counter questions, go off topic, make mistakes, get angry in unscripted ways. Here, everything is too smooth, too fast, too appropriate, too identical. You are standing in a huge hall where a recorded conversation is playing, and you have been handed a microphone that is not connected to anything. And this observation is where the theory begins, the dead internet theory. The dead internet theory says something very simple. The internet can look alive even if most of the life inside it is imitation. The dead internet theory was not born as someone's single idea. It emerged as a convergence of observations that began repeating themselves for too many people at the same time. Yes, it was first clearly articulated in cult forum threads and later surfaced into the mainstream. In 2021, a major post appeared on Agora Road's Macintosh Cafe, after which media outlets picked it up and the theory took on a life of its own. But what matters is not where it appeared. What matters is why it suddenly sounded plausible. Because today, the internet looks like a place that can be kept running without human participation. And this is not a metaphor. The internet no longer needs people. It needs traffic. Here is the number where the chill begins. According to Imperva, nearly half of all internet traffic is already non-human, automated activity. And malicious bots account for roughly 1/3 of all traffic. What does this mean in everyday terms? It means that at any given moment, some views are not views, some clicks are not interest, some activity is simply simulated motion. Now add the basic economics of platforms. Algorithms do not benefit from you understanding and leaving. They benefit from you staying, reacting, engaging. That is why the internet increasingly behaves like an organism that feeds not on meaning but on stimulation. The simplest fuel is conflict. Nothing holds attention better than anger, fear, urgency. Watch before it's deleted. They are hiding this. And here the dirty magic of reality begins. You do not need to be shown the truth. You only need to be shown what you will react to. Wars, crises, conflicts, global instability, these become more than news. They become raw material. The platform does not need you to understand, the platform needs you to give attention. And this is where the third layer appears, the most disturbing one. Information injections have become a standalone industry. Breaking videos are rolled out. They spread instantly. People share them, argue, scream. And then it turns out, fake, generated, substituted. For example, local media in Las Vegas analyzed cases where videos of iconic locations on fire went viral on social networks. Experts confirmed the videos were created using AI. And this matters not because someone lied. It matters because even a fake completes its task. It triggers emotion. boosts reach, collects reactions, keeps the crowd engaged. And the most disturbing part is this: a fake often works better than the truth, because the truth is boring. Classic pattern. After tragedies and major events, the internet gets flooded with false reports, fake heroes, shootings in other locations, second suspects, sensational claims. Major media outlets openly wrote about these waves of fakes and about how social networks help them spread. And this is not an isolated case. This is how an era works where fabrication is cheaper than fact. The most meme-level example: Shrimp Jesus on Facebook. Surreal images, thousands of reactions, massive chains of identical comments like, "Amen." It was discussed as a symptom of something larger, that a network can be filled with life without living people. And here the truly frightening conclusion emerges. The internet has enough images that can be mass-produced, enough comments that can be copied, enough arguments that can be launched, enough emotions that can be triggered. And people? People are no longer a required component. People are simply reaction fuel. Why does all of this feel like an emotion farm? The internet has stopped being a space for communication. It has become an engineered structure that regulates what you get angry about, what you fear, who you argue with, and whom you trust. Because an angry person comes back more often, argues more, shares more, stays longer. A calm person avoids conflict. They close the tab. And now we return to the dead internet theory. It is not about all bots, it is about something else. There is so much automated noise and stimulation online that a living person drowns in it and begins to doubt whether there is anyone on the other side at all. Everyone has seen this. A video of a child, a video of a person with disabilities, a video of someone taking their first step, first dance, first appearance in public. And underneath, filth. Not criticism, not disagreement, but pure cruelty, cold, devoid of empathy. Sometimes so vicious that a simple, terrifying question arises. How can anyone write something like this to a living person? How can someone turn another person's vulnerability into an excuse for mockery? How can harassment and noise be created where there is no conflict and no provocation? And this is not even about morality. It is about the feeling that on the other side of the screen, people have stopped seeing a human being. As if the person in the video is no longer a living individual, but a content object, an image, a trigger, a reason to react. And here, the dead internet theory suddenly stops being a theory, because in an environment where most activity is bots, algorithms, and templates, human empathy becomes excessive. An algorithm does not feel shame. A bot does not feel boundaries. A template does not know what pain is. And a human inside this environment begins to adapt. They see that cruelty is not punished. It is rewarded with reach. It provokes reactions. It boosts videos. And the human begins to behave like part of the system, not like a living being. At some point, people and bots stop being distinguishable. Human behavior becomes algorithmic, as if the internet has taught people not to think, not to feel, but simply to discharge emotion. Anger into comments, fear into reposts, envy into harassment. And this is why a living person drowns in the noise. They cannot withstand the frequency. They cannot withstand the speed. They cannot withstand the absence of silence. And at some point they begin to wonder, is there anyone left here who can still stop and see a human being, not just an object for reaction? That is why the dead internet theory hits so deeply. If you dig through old Reddit threads, forum archives, discussions from people who have been online since the early 2000s, the same point keeps appearing. 2016-2017, as the moment when something quietly broke. People did not write, "The internet died." They wrote differently. It became boring to communicate. The comments feel copy-pasted. It feels like I am talking to a wall. I don't understand who I am even writing to. And when you put all these observations together, the picture becomes clear. It was during this period that the familiar chronological feed disappeared. Before, you opened a platform and saw what happened. Who posted what? Who argued with whom? After 2016, you stopped seeing events. You started seeing algorithmic decisions. Not what happened, but what you are now allowed to see. Useful not to you, to the system. During the same period, the number of strange accounts exploded. No history, no personal photos. Perfectly calibrated activity. Comments always on topic, but never deep. People noticed that you could ask a specific question and receive dozens of replies that answered nothing, as if the task was not to communicate, but to fill space. This was also when bot farms became widespread, first for advertising, then for politics, then for shaping public opinion. But the most important shift was not technical, it was behavioral. You no longer know who is watching you or reading you. Is anyone watching at all? Is a human responding to you or a script? And here emerges the core feeling shared by those who point to 2016-2017. The internet stopped being a place of meeting. It became a system for distributing attention. And in such a system, a living human is not the goal. They are a variable, not a person, not an interlocutor, not someone on the other side. A variable in a formula where meaning does not matter, reactions do. Because the internet is no longer about communication, it is about attention control. And attention is measured not by understanding, but by how angry you got, how scared you became, how activated you were, whether you entered conflict, whether you left a trace. The system does not need to love you. It does not need to hear you. It needs only one thing: your reaction. And if you react, you are predictable. And a predictable person can be guided, heated up, cooled down, directed, and collided with others. That is why you are a variable. This is how platform mechanisms work. Every living person becomes a signal source, and signal is the new currency. Look at what is happening outwardly. The feed looks like a crowd. Comments look like people. Discussions look like conflict. But in reality, the internet increasingly resembles a city where every window is lit, and no one lives inside. You can be surrounded by thousands of voices and not meet a single human being. Why? Because part of the activity is automation, part is farms, part is repeated behavioral patterns, part is people who already behave like bots. Even when there is a human on the other side, they often respond not from themselves, but from a script. They do not think. They repeat. They do not listen. They attack. They do not feel. They execute a reaction. As a result, a new type of entity emerges: people bots, NPCs in human bodies. They live in automatic defense mode. Do not allow doubt. Do not allow silence. Do not allow complex thought. Win. Prove. Destroy. Because the algorithmic environment has trained them exactly for this. Look how easy it is today to trigger a person. Give them a label instead of a thought, an enemy instead of a cause, a short truth instead of a fact. And they activate. They will write cruelty under an innocent video. They will hate a stranger who simply exists. Their negativity is not a feeling. It is a discharge, like a ventilation system that needs to release pressure somewhere. And the internet is perfect for that. There is no real contact, no responsibility, no pause, no eye contact. Only the send button. And algorithms reward this behavior. Because negativity is fuel. People thought Terminator would be robots with metal faces. Ridiculous. The Terminator came differently. It does not kill the body. It disables humanity. Through an environment where being human is unprofitable. You can be right. You can be smart. You can expose a fake. But if you lost your center and gave away your emotion, you already played by their rules. That is why the strategy at the next level is simple. Do not engage in bot games. If a discussion does not lead to understanding, it leads to energy drain. Learn to distinguish a response from a reaction. A living person can stop and ask. A script always pressures and accelerates. Preserve inner silence. Because silence is the only thing algorithms cannot buy. Look for the living by signs of life. The living sometimes stay silent, sometimes doubt, sometimes do not know, sometimes write unevenly, sometimes make mistakes. and there are far fewer of them than it seems. And that is exactly why encountering the living becomes a value. Thank you for being with me on this channel. I wish you the best possible branch of reality. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. Take care.